delicious. I was on our Reddit discussion forum this morning at davidpakman.com/Reddit. There's really good conversation happening there. I am on our Reddit discussion forum. Producer Pat is on our Reddit discussion forum. Let's look at some interesting discussions that caught my eye this morning at davidpakman.com/Reddit. There was a post which inquired, isn't David better off without YouTube revenue? It always struck me that the show could never be truly independent if it was taking cash from ad revenue. Listen, it was as independent as we could be. We had no contact with advertisers. We just do content, and then YouTube would bring the advertisers. We wouldn't know what advertisers were going to show up that day. There was really no way that we could be compromised. But the truth, the silver lining in the YouTube ad boycott is if we can replace the lost revenue through membership and Patreon, then we'll certainly be better off because then we don't have to care what YouTube chooses to demonetize. We'll just say, hey, we're not expecting any money from YouTube. We're going to do every story exactly the way we want to do it without any regard for whether it might be adult content.
And that was the beauty of the system that we had, because all the advertiser appeal and reach and all that stuff was done on YouTube's end. We didn't have to do any of that.
Didn't have to spend any time trying to sell ads, right? They showed up there. We worked on the content. Also on our Reddit discussion forum, whoa, Pat is physically intimidating when standing. Yeah, a lot of people were reacting, Pat, to our behind the scenes video that we did showing what goes on here before the show. And people were taken aback by your height and they found you physically imposing.
Wow. Yeah, I'm like 6'2", 6'3".
Right.
I mean, I'm not too physically imposing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I find generally I'm not scared of Pat in studio except for on rare occasions.
Right. You don't have to speak about that.
We don't really talk about what those situations are. So anyway, people noticing that, having a good time with that on Reddit. Also from our Reddit discussion forum, David Pakman finally speaks Spanish on his live stream. Yeah, on the live streams, there would be a lot of hyperbolic statements about David speaks Spanish now, blah, blah, blah. And growing up as an immigrant to the U.S., particularly one who doesn't fit the stereotype of what Spanish speakers look like, an incorrect stereotype, people would often say, oh, speak Spanish to prove you know how to speak Spanish, or sort of like as a sideshow. So I became very resistant growing up when people would say, speak Spanish, like as a game of sorts. Mm-hmm. But people have been asking questions in Spanish via Super Chat on the live streams, and I'll read them and translate them, and answer them. Like, I don't have a problem speaking Spanish. It's just that I don't like doing it as a sort of sideshow. You know what I mean?
Right, because language is just the means of communication. It's not something that you show off.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. And so anyway, it's not that I've been resistant. It's just if there's really no reason to speak Spanish, why would I? And lastly, how do we defeat online trolls? This is an interesting conversation that started after an article from The Atlantic was posted to our Reddit discussion forum. And I encourage you to participate because this is an issue we've talked a lot about. So there's something for everybody on the David Pakman Show Reddit discussion forum. I encourage you to go to davidpakman.com/Reddit, sign up. You can suggest interviews for the show, topics, talk to other people. We also are now running a Discord server where you get the information for this server on Reddit, and then you sign up for Discord, and viewers and listeners, Pat, are actually talking to each other. I think we should actually figure out what this Discord server thing is all about. I created an account and then bailed because it got too complex for me. But I'm kind of kidding. But I haven't dug into it yet. But we should show up there one day.
I'd be a little nervous.
Would you?
Yeah, to see the audience face to face. I'm used to just seeing a camera.
Well, it's voice to voice.
Right.
It's not. Nobody would see you. They would hear you.
Okay. I can do. I think I can handle that.
You think you can handle that? Yeah, we're going to look into that. But anyway, a lot's going on Reddit. So sign up there, davidpakman.com/Reddit, and please continue making those contributions at patreon.com/David Pakman Show.